Welcome. Today, we're diving into a brand new explainer to cut straight through the noise, the fads, and those conflicting rules around a topic we literally all obsess over: meal timing and metabolism. Okay, let's just dive right into this because there is so much misinformation out there, and it's definitely time to set the record straight using the actual science.
We've all heard this one, right? Those pervasive, genuinely exhausting diet rules screaming at you to never skip breakfast or insisting you absolutely must eat 6 small meals a day just to keep your metabolic furnace burning. It's honestly enough to make anyone anxious about the clock. But let's pause. Do you really need to eat every 3 hours to keep your metabolism fired up?
Well, the answer is a big, resounding no. Actually, when I first read the research on this, I had to take a step back and just let it sink in. It's incredibly freeing. There is absolutely no reliable way to dramatically speed up your metabolism through meal timing alone. Once we stop chasing a timing shortcut that simply doesn't exist, we're finally free to focus on the levers that genuinely do move the needle.
So let's get into section 1, how metabolism actually works.
To pull those levers effectively, we've got to rebuild our understanding from the ground up and look at the actual biology. Because, let's be honest, people toss the word metabolism around a lot without truly knowing what it means. It is not some internal furnace you just flick on and off with a snack. Metabolism is the entire collection of chemical reactions that keep your body running. It's constantly converting your food and drink into usable energy, running quietly in the background to power everything from your breathing and circulation to repairing your very cells. It's working right now while you're listening to this. Now, here is where it gets really fascinating. Think of your daily energy use as being split into 4 main buckets. The biggest chunk, by far, is your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. That commonly accounts for somewhere between 60 to 75% of your total daily calorie burn. That means the vast majority of the energy you burn every single day happens literally just by existing. The other much smaller buckets are the thermic effect of food, non-exercise activity, and formal exercise.
So the crucial takeaway here is understanding what actually shapes that massive basal metabolic rate bucket. It's dictated by your body size, your muscle mass, your age, genetics, hormone levels, and your overall physical activity. And on the flip side, what absolutely does not shape your basal metabolic rate? The exact minute your first meal lands. Total food intake and the overall nutritional quality of your diet matter vastly more than the number of meals you eat.
Moving right along to section 2, the power of protein. Since we know clock watching isn't the magic bullet, let's look at the actionable levers we actually can control. Remember that second energy bucket we just talked about, the thermic effect of food, or TEF? This takes up about 10% of your daily energy expenditure. Your body literally has to spend energy just to digest and process what you eat. And here is a fantastic secret weapon. Protein demands a significantly higher thermic effect than carbohydrates or fats. Your body works way harder and burns more energy just to process protein-rich foods. This completely flips the script. We're moving away from the whole clock-watching myth and stepping into the scientific reality of quality and quantity. Getting enough protein overall matters way, way more than when you actually eat it. So what about skipping meals? Well, skipping meals doesn't automatically cause weight gain. It's really only a problem if it leaves you feeling overly hungry, exhausted, or prone to overeating later in the day. It's all about knowing your own patterns. So what does this actually look like on your plate? We're talking about a highly practical list of foods that maximize that thermic effect and keep you satisfied. Everyday staples like eggs and fish, dairy like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, or amazing plant powerhouses like beans, lentils, and tofu. If you include a protein source at each meal, you support a balanced eating pattern, you increase the energy required for digestion, and you keep yourself fueled throughout your own completely unique daily schedule. All right, section 3, muscle, movement, and NEAT. Now, food is really only half the equation here. As we age, our metabolism can naturally slow down, and a massive part of that is simply due to changes in muscle mass. Muscle tissue requires significantly more energy to maintain than fat tissue does. This concept really hits the nail on the head. Lean muscle burns more calories at rest than fat tissue does. This makes preserving and building your muscle mass through resistance training absolutely critical for maintaining your resting energy expenditure. And here is the absolute best news. You do not need a pricey gym membership to do this. You honestly don't even need to put on proper shoes. It is incredibly accessible to preserve this metabolically active tissue right from your own living room. Squats, lunges, push-ups, using simple resistance bands, or just sticking to bodyweight exercises. Combining this kind of accessible resistance training with adequate protein, that is the ultimate gold standard strategy for maintaining your lean body mass.
Okay, let's pivot to what I think is the most underrated energy bucket of them all. We all know the standard guidance, right? Get your 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise a week. But beyond that, there is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is the energy you use in everyday life that isn't formal exercise. It's walking around your office, cleaning the house, gardening, choosing to take the stairs, chasing a toddler around the room, or even just aggressively fidgeting at your desk during a long meeting.
And that brings us to this incredibly surprising number. Depending entirely on an individual's everyday habits, NEAT can account for anywhere from 100 to an astonishing 800 calories per day. No way, right? But it's true. That is a massive range. Everyday casual movement contributes substantially to your total energy expenditure, often burning far more over the course of a day than a single quick session on the treadmill. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is there anywhere that meal timing actually matters? There is one key exception, and that is around exercise. A balanced meal before physical activity provides the necessary energy for that session, and a meal containing protein and carbohydrates afterwards supports normal recovery. However, a quick caution here. While high-intensity workouts can temporarily increase your energy burn afterwards, they do not permanently accelerate your metabolism. Which brings us to Section 4, Sustainable Habits That Work. Let's zoom out a bit to the big picture and look at the variables that actually move the needle on weight management over the long term. If you're looking to lose weight, a sustained caloric deficit is required. But consider the difference between these two approaches. Extreme restriction might give you fast early results, but it forces your body to adapt. Your energy expenditure declines as muscle mass declines, making continued progress incredibly hard. On the flip side, a moderate deficit, around 500 to 750 calories a day, is associated with a very sustainable loss of roughly 1 to 1.5 pounds a week. Gradual, steady changes absolutely win the race here. While we're at it, let's briefly debunk another pervasive myth, the crazy marketing hype around metabolism-boosting superfoods like green tea or chili. The reality? Well, while certain foods might have tiny temporary effects on energy expenditure, sadly, downing spicy tea just isn't going to do the hard work for you. There is no single magical food that reliably transforms a slow metabolism into a fast one. Building a varied, consistently nutritious diet is a far more practical foundation. We also really need to have a quick chat about the scale. Because look, it is totally valid to feel a moment of sheer panic when you step on the scale and see the number jump overnight. But changes in your daily weight do not always represent changes in body fat. This scale fluctuates wildly due to water retention, the literal volume of food currently in your gut, your salt intake, hormonal changes, and shifts in physical activity. You absolutely must track long-term trends, body composition, and your daily energy levels instead of living and dying by a single morning's arbitrary number. Finally, let's explore some hidden levers that literally have nothing to do with food. Did you know insufficient sleep is associated with increased appetite? It's true. And chronic stress directly influences hormone levels like cortisol, which totally disrupts your activity and eating patterns. Rest and recovery are essential metabolic tools. A consistent sleep schedule and real stress management are vital. Even your social connection plays a role in keeping your system running optimally. And that brings us to Section 5, the final framework. Let's pull all these scientific realities together into a clear, actionable game plan. Here is your sustainable framework. Step 1, eat regular meals that fit your actual schedule, not some arbitrary clock, and make sure to include a protein source with each one to maximize that thermic effect and keep you satisfied. Step 2, protect your metabolically active muscle with resistance training. And Step 3, keep moving every day to maximize that massive NEAT calorie burn. It is all about building a consistent routine tailored to your actual real life. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely vital question to ponder. Are you building a routine for the clock? Or are you building a routine for your life? It is time to drop the extreme, stressful rules. Focus on food quality, daily movement, and preserving your muscle. And a quick, important note. If you are ever experiencing persistent fatigue or unexplained changes, please don't just brush it off as a slow metabolism. Go have a conversation with a healthcare professional. You have the science to take control of your metabolic health right now, entirely free from the exhaustion of the clock. So, what small habit are you going to change today?